Well, like I say, I thought that you folks had left that there this morning, but then I looked at it again and it was dated Friday. So then I thought, well, maybe you'd left it Friday. So then you probably thought, well, here I was Saturday morning. But,
yeah.
So, but we didn't. I didn't know about this till today.
All right.
So, but it obviously you don't want to be one of Jehovah's Witnesses. I mean, you're making that clear.
Yeah. Those
And
some things that we would like some answers for. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just to to get a perspective and be objective about what some of your opinions are about these things, and what you have a little bit more inside knowledge than we do, obviously. For your years in that organization, so it would be nice to hear your perspective on some things. Let's see. Firstly, I would like to. I was kind of pondering this question, as if it was asked from somebody who was unfamiliar with the beliefs of the Jehovah's Witnesses. If they were a newly interested one and I was having a study with them, or if I was trying to enlighten them on Bible truths. And if they were to ask me, let's say I do decide to become a dedicated member of this organization, and if I have some questions, and if I have some things that I disagree with, and I decide to step away, what are going to be the ramifications for leaving? Are there any kind of negative consequences for leaving? And in my mind, I'm thinking, if they do wrongdoing and you're disfellowshipped and you're removed from a congregation, there are some consequences for leaving. Those that were your brothers in the congregation, will recognize you as having, sinned and intentionally sinned, and were, as a congregation, are advised not to be involved with such ones. But how would I go about explaining to someone who is newly interested and not already indoctrinated what the justification is for those in the congregation, not treating them the same way as they once were when they were in good standing?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I was having a hard time trying to figure out how would I explain these things to them without being in some way kind of hiding the whole truth in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you brothers can shed some light on that for me.
Mm-hmm. And that's a good question. That's one reason why we're very careful, cautious, slow before we allow and approve someone to go into the field ministry.
Correct.
You may recall or remember how long it took for the both of you before you could do that. And I believe when the brothers sat down with you in regards to becoming an unbaptized publisher, that there was discussion made in that now being a part of the congregation, there's a measure of accountability.
Correct.
In that you're being identified as one of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yes.
Because, say, if you and I go to someone's door together, they don't see you as someone fairly new and me as someone fairly old. They just see us as two Jehovah's Witnesses.
Correct.
So, and then Jess, when you were there at the assembly hall for your baptism, and when the talk is given, and the two questions are posed in regards to, if this is what you want to do, and in dedicating your life, as well as in the responsibility. Now, do you have a Bible?
Sure.
Okay, if I could show you a thought.
I thought there was 3 questions, but I think you're right, it's 2.
Yeah, it's 2 questions. And the last, or the most current talk is on Holy Spirit, being baptized in the name of the Holy Spirit. And let's go to 2 John. And generally, 2 John, and no chapter, they're all verses. Okay, and Ashley, would you read, please, in 2 John verses 9, 10, and 11?
Sure. Okay, I'm reading out of a different Bible here. For if you wander beyond the teachings of Christ, you will leave God behind, while if you are loyal to Christ's teachings, you will have God too. Then you will have both the Father and the Son. If anyone comes to teach you and he does not believe what Christ taught, don't even invite him into your home. Don't encourage him in any way. If you do, you will be a partner with him in his wickedness.
Okay. And then read verse 13.
Okay. Greetings from the children of your sister, another choice child of God, sincerely John.
Okay. Now, if you were to go into the original Greek, which I of course don't have with me,
Okay.
but if you were to look at the original Greek, and you could do this in the way of research, in verse 10 when it talks about an invitation into the home,
Okay.
it's a different type of an invitation than the greeting that is spoken of there in verse 13.
Okay.
Because back then, oftentimes when a greeting was extended, it could be a hug, a kiss, a salutation in the sense that, I'm really touched to see you, and you know how it is when you see a friend that you haven't seen in a while. But in that 10th verse, Paul or John goes even deeper into the aspect of not having any type of that greeting.
Okay.
But that only comes about for those who no longer want the truth of the Christ and of Jehovah God. So in other words, we don't disfellowship or disassociate people unless they want it.
Correct.
And by that I mean when someone is disfellowshipped or disassociated, they've chosen something that is contrary to what the teachings of the Bible state.
Okay.
So, like yesterday I was mentioning to Jess that just the other day my boss had said to me, why is it that you can be of any religion, but if you're one of Jehovah's Witnesses, people become very apprehensive. She didn't say apprehensive. She's
cautious.
Yeah, it bothers them, and that's because it bothers people. Like to this day, after 10 years there, when they have the birthdays, they still have a hard time over the fact that I'm not there in the middle of it with them, and so they'll always try to, either bring me a piece of birthday cake or and I know that their intentions are one in which, we don't want him to miss out on the cake. And they know I love cake.
Yeah.
I eat too much cake.
I have that issue too.
But the point of it is that we're the only ones that are separate. Everybody else joins in.
Yes. Okay.
And so in coming back to your question, how do you tell someone who is newly acquainted or newly interested? Because a lot of times family or friends are going to warn them right away, do not become involved with Jehovah's Witnesses.
Exactly.
Have nothing to do with them.
Exactly.
And the reason why is because they don't want to have to change whatever their current lifestyle may be, whether it be living with someone of the opposite sex, whether it be, doing all these other things, which
contrary to
they are totally free to do.
Correct.
They have that freedom to do.
Yes.
Just like Adam and Eve had the freedom to do and choose and go the direction in which they wanted to.
Correct.
I mean, I would love to have you guys come to the meeting today,
Of course.
but nobody will force you to. Because it's pointless to be forced to do something if it doesn't come from your heart.
Yes.
Now let's be realistic. I go to my job because I have no money. I have to.
Yeah.
I got to pay PG&E. I like to go to the store and buy some stuff for dinner, and nobody else is giving me money, and rightfully so. I'm a big boy. I'm an adult, so I got to go and work.
Correct.
And I have a job, and I'm glad I've got that job, so I don't have to go and try to find another job because there's not many jobs out there.
Yeah.
But it's the same with the meetings. No, it's not the same. But with the meetings, I go because I want to.
Yes. There's a sincerity.
Now, if I had enough money, I'd quit my job.
Of course.
So with a newly interested person, myself personally, I'm up front with them as I am with people at work, in that